Hello everyone, hope you are doing good. Welcome to study room. So we did our chapter first, which was crop production and management, and today we'll be talking about chapter 2, which is microorganisms. Friend and foe. Friends means the person who stays with us, and foe is the enemy part, not the enemy exactly, the person who causes harm. So since we are discussing friend and foe, so we'll be discussing about the good microorganisms and bad microorganisms. So let's begin. During the rainy seasons, most bread gets spoiled and its surface gets covered with grayish white patches. I am sure that you have also noticed this types of green patches. Do you know what these structures are and where do these come from? So if you don't know till now, I'll tell you these are fungi and these are microorganisms. Microorganisms, we'll be discussing about microorganisms in the upcoming slides. And the name of fungus which grows on our bread is Rhizopus stolonifer. So Rhizopus is a genus and stolonifer is a species. So this is the name of microorganism which grows on your bread. So I hope you learned something new today. What exactly are microorganisms? So microorganisms are living organisms which lives around us but we cannot see them through naked eyes. So or unaided eyes. So we have to use microorganism for them to see, and the very common examples are bacteria or virus, etc. So the one thing which we know about microorganisms is that we cannot see them through our naked eyes. Activities to show microorganism exist. So the thing which I mentioned in the previous slide is that we cannot see microorganism with a naked eye. We have to use microscope for it. So you have to collect some moist soil from the field in the beaker and add water to it. So you'll take a beaker, soil plus water, and you'll take a drop out of it and you'll put it under the slide and observe it through microscope. So what do we observe? We observe tiny organisms are moving around. You'll see them because you're using microscope now, so you'll be able to see tiny organisms swimming through it, different kinds and different structure. So what is conclusion? Water and soil are full of tiny microorganisms, though not all of them fall into the category of microorganisms. So what did we learn in this particular activity? That everything has microorganism, but we were able to see microorganism present in water and soil. So I'll tell you a very interesting fact now. So the milk which gets converted into curd, the milk which gets converted into curd has a lot of bacteria known as lactobacillus. So you will be learning about these things in the upcoming slide. So you know the meaning of microorganisms today. How small are these microorganisms? These microorganisms or microbes are very small and it cannot be seen with the unaided eye. Some of these, such as the fungus that grows on bread, can be seen with magnifying glass. So you have to use a magnifying glass. This is a magnifying glass and a microscope. So this is a compound microscopes. There are different kind of microscopes which are available in the market. There are dissecting microscope. There are compound microscopes. So you have to use compound microscope, and this is the structure of bacteria. That is why these are called microorganisms or microbes, because we cannot see them through our naked eyes. Now, classification of microorganisms. So microorganisms can be classified into first bacteria, second fungi, third protozoa, and fourth algae. Fungi which grows on bread when it gets rotten. So bacteria are also called germs and are microscopic organisms because we cannot see them through naked eye. Bacteria are everywhere, both inside and outside of our body, typically a few micrometer in length, or it varies in different shape and sizes. Diseases like typhoid and tuberculosis, TB, are bacterial diseases caused by Salmonella typhi and Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So some of the diseases are typhoid. Typhoid is caused by Salmonella typhi, and your tuberculosis is caused by, or TB is caused by Mycobacterium It's not micro, it's Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So I hope you remember why I'm writing these two things in small letter and these two in capital letter, because these two are genus and these two are species. So this was all about bacteria, and now we'll be learning about fungi. So before moving ahead with fungi, you have to know that organisms are of two types. There are prokaryotic, there are eukaryotic. So prokaryotic means they lack nucleus and the cell organelles. Cell organelles meaning, for example, chloroplast or mitochondria. So these are cell organelles. And eukaryotics means they have nucleus and cell organelle. Nucleus is the guiding light of cell. So it's the male control power of the cell. A fungus is any member of the group of eukaryotic organisms. So fungi is a eukaryotic organism that includes microbes such as yeast and mold and those mushrooms and those microorganisms which were growing on our bread. And they are heterotrophs. I hope you remember the meaning of heterotrophs, the organism which cannot make their own food among the living organisms. And some of the diseases of bacteria were typhoid or tuberculosis. The diseases of fungi are ringworm, fungal nail infection. So you can see ringworm here, and this is mushroom. It's a fungi. So now a very, very interesting fun fact. A fungus known as the honey mushroom. It's the largest living organism on the planet Earth. It is believed to be about 2400 years old, and it covers 2000 acres. So you can imagine how big this is, and this can be found in Russia, Poland or Ukraine. So if you visit these three countries, please make sure that you visit honey mushroom as well. Now the third category of microorganism is protozoa. So protozoa is an informal term for a group of single-celled eukaryote. So this is a paramecium and it is a protozoa. So you can say it's a single cell structure and it is eukaryote. It means that it has a nucleus. So very interesting fact about paramecium is that it has two nucleus. One is micronutrients, you can see it is micronutrients here, and the other one is macronutrients. So there are two nucleus. It can be free living or parasitics, and it feeds on tissue debris. Some of the examples are amoeba, paramecium and Eugellina. So amoeba is here, it's also a single cell structure, and trypanosoma. The diseases which protozoa causes dysentery, malaria and protozoa or protozoans. So you encountered with three microorganisms. First one is bacteria, second is fungus, third is protozoa. So I hope you know the difference between all three. Your fungus is a single-celled eukaryotic organism and protozoa is also a single-celled eukaryotic organism, but they are different types of microorganisms. So that's why. Now algae are somewhat like plants. They are plant-like organisms that are subdivided into two categories, photosynthetic and aquatic. So photosynthetic means just like plant, they make their own food with the help of photosynthesis, and aquatic means they live in the water. Although it is a plant-like organism, still it does not have true roots, stems or leaves or vascular systems or tissues. But it has simplest reproductive structure. So it is not basically a plant like with full leaves, roots, stems, but it is a plant-like structure. It's green in color, and vascular tissues means the things which help in passing of the gases or food. So vascular tissue includes xylem and phloem. So these are two vascular tissues or system of plants. Algae can occur in salt or fresh water or on the surface of moist soil or rock. Some cyanobacteria also. This is a very interesting question and very important, a one-word question. So cyanobacteria are also known as blue-green algae, and they do oxidative photosynthesis. They make their own food and they do photosynthesis and releases O2. And algae can produce toxins and that can make people sick and even people can die. So a very interesting or to check where the algae is growing. So you have all seen pond or land. So the green covering which you see in any pond, any unsettled pond. So for example, in this picture, it's a lake and it is covered with green covering. It's sort of look like plants, but it is algae. So now you know what algae is and what exactly it look like. Now viruses. First of all, viruses are prokaryotes. It doesn't have any nucleus or any cell organelle. So viruses are microscopic but are different from other microorganisms. They, however, produce only inside the cell of the host organism. For example, coronavirus. Coronavirus enters your body and it uses us as the host to multiply. Okay, so they, however, reproduce only when they are in the host organism, which may be bacteria, plant, humans. Some of the ailments or the diseases which viruses cause are cold, influenza, flu, cough, and chickenpox. These are some serious viral diseases. So now you know why virus is different from bacteria, fungi, and protozoans. So where exactly do these microorganisms live? It's a very very vast question, because microorganisms can be found everywhere. So see here, it's earth. Even outside the earth, microorganisms live. Microorganism lives on your table, on your phone, and on your hands. You think these are clean hands? No, they have several microorganisms, even colonies of microorganisms living in my hand. So microorganisms are inevitable. They're everywhere. So microorganisms are everywhere. I hope this will make things better. Microorganism may be single cell like bacteria, algae, protozoa, multicellular like algae or fungi. So they can be single cell or multicellular. Single cell means it consists of single cell, and that single cell governs the whole body. And multicells means, for example, us, we are a multicellular organisms. We have many cells in us. They live in all types of environment, from ice cold environment to hot spring, in deserts, marshy lands. They're everywhere inside our bodies. You'll not believe, even in our intestine, 3,000 to 5,000 good microorganisms live in our gut, in human gut. So some microorganisms grow on other microorganisms as well, and they live freely. So microorganisms are everywhere, to answer this question. So I hope you understood the meaning of microorganism, where they live, and what are the different kinds of microorganisms. In the next video, we'll be talking about how microorganisms are related to us. And so thank you, and please revise the whole video and listen to everything very carefully, because microorganisms, we'll be discussing microorganism in detail in the upcoming videos.